Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
No, sir, it is not. That is not an assertion of tort.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Would you like a definition of a tort?
I'm just asking for clarification.
No, sir. To answer your question, no, it is not.
So who was city attorney whenever the 1858 was passed? Then we paid $18,000 to complete restoration.
The gentleman that was a city attorney at that time is now deceased, I believe.
Mr. Baker.
You know, I'm embarrassed because I was one of the first persons that told Nellie I thought we would be able to help her, especially with her deductible. And I drive by her house on the way to my house every day, and it is embarrassing. Then I found out that supposedly we had informed her of, you know, some improper plumbing and blah, blah, blah. And then what I found out, and we've got two different issues here that I see. One of them is that evidently none of this was in writing, so none of it's documented. The issues of the past, because I was basing this also on some past incidences. One of them was brought up about the $18,000 is an entirely different situation. Only similarity is that it involves a sewer and a sewer line. The situations are not the same. We've had some other instances where we did have the blowout valve, and the city came in and worked with those people. And that was my feeling, is that we should have worked with Nellie and Miss Clark to help her with this deal, and I still feel that way. Because I don't think we followed procedures. We don't have any written procedures, is number one. And I think that's our big problem right there. And I think we need to have a separate issue, the public works people, to develop not only procedures for handling emergencies like this, but also for safety and their own safety procedures of what their people need to do, again, for health reasons, and then also for the citizens. And I think in the meantime, though, our problem and what is on the table before us is Nellie Clark and the sewer that I think we probably were I don't know whether we're partly part of the problem or not, but I think we do need and we should provide help like we had before, only because nothing was in writing, if nothing else. And I can go ahead with it. I wish we'd have done the $1,000 at the very beginning. I felt that was reasonable and thought that was good. I'm not sure now, because of the insurance being subjugated, if that's the $3,000 is going to help or not. I think the $1,000 would still be the best way to go. So anyway, that's kind of where, because I really do think we do need to do something, and I feel like she needs some help.
Ms. Balance. You keep telling us what we can't do, and I'm trying to get my head around that. What can we do? Let me ask you this. Could we possibly pass an ordinance to pay her expenses above and beyond what her insurance covers? Is that possible?
From what I understand from the insurance company, they believe the loss to be less than the policy limit, so that amount would be the $1,000.
Okay.
Now, I don't know that for certain.
I don't know about that either.
I am not a party to what she has contracted.
Yeah.
But I know what figure that they have initially set. They believe to be the amount that they would seek from the city should the city decide to pay this.
How much is that?
Do you have the letter still?
How can we help her, Mr. Weaver?
I don't think you can do in excess of $1,000. And I think at that you're risking your opening liability to the insurance company. The insurance company has said that the amount of the loss, according to what they have, a little less than $8,000. And this is not subject to public information. Well, the amount.
I know. Originally, I was going to have a second part to that, to that motion, and Mr. Berry alluded to it. I do feel that whatever action we can take, we need to take and do it as quickly as possible. But I think at the same time, between Public Works and the city attorney and the mayor's office, probably there needs to be something written as far as when these issues come up and the Public Works people or whoever goes out and does something, if they identify that this is not within code, that they hand a piece of paper to the owner and say, please sign this release of liability. Something that protects both them and, because they may say, please don't do it then until such time that, I'm aware of, what the problems are. And I realize this unfortunately hit at a cold period and probably people under the weather and otherwise, but I do believe that regardless of what we're able to do monetarily, morally, or ethically, we also need to go ahead and carry it one step further for the future, whether it's a release of liability or an explanation of access or whatever, because if somebody came on my property and said, we've had a complaint, and I had an issue with a rental house where I was trying to find out if the sewer had even been blown out and couldn't even get a response back from Public Works. So I think something needs to cover the city, the employees, and the homeowners.
Mr. DeVito.
Well, those are issues that aren't pertinent to tonight, and I'm not discounting their need. So getting us back to the subject at hand, pose a rhetorical question to the city attorney. If we did $1,000, I would go to the insurance company. Does that then indemnify the city? Would the insurance company then go up? It's all the city's fault. We're out of here.
I don't know the answer to that question. That could certainly be something they could attempt to assert. I don't know whether they would assert that or not.
Oh, we'd have to play that by.
Ms. Balance.
Well, as I said at a previous meeting, if this happened to my mother, I would certainly want her municipality to help her out if they caused a problem in her home. If this happened to me, you can bet I'd want the municipality to help me out. I understand that people who don't own homes probably don't have a lot of empathy for this kind of situation, but people who do own homes have approached me by the many in the past couple of weeks and said, Laney, what happens if this happens to my home? I said, well, insurance, what's your deductible, whatever. They're seeing themselves in Nellie Clark's shoes, and they're very upset that the city refuses to help somebody in whose home they've caused a problem. There's got to be something we can do to help this lady, since we did truly cause this problem. We truly are the ones who caused this. I'm ashamed that it's taken this long to even get it to this table. I kind of rather presumed that somebody would help her. I feel quite badly about this whole deal, and I think if it happened to your mother, you would want somebody to help her. Do you have a mother?
You talking to me, ma'am?
Sure.
I'd take care of it myself.
You take care of it yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Since you asked me comments on
what if your mother didn't have you?
I'm done with my comments.
No,
Okay.
let's not.
Mr. DeVito.
The way I see it is we take a chance on the $1,000 with the possibility that we could end up with $8,000, and I'm willing to take that chance to pay the deductible of $1,000.
Doc,
Can we make a motion?
Well, we have one on the
There's
there's one
floor.
on the table for $3,000 right now. Do you want to pull that motion?
No, can I ask one more question? Since there has been an issue brought up by an expert, since the insurance company has done all their legal mumbo jumbo and flashing of cards and whatever, can this money be specified to cover the potential possible medical expenses?
You want an answer to that? From a legal perspective, we don't know because we have no dealings between her and her insurance company to know what the policy restrictions are of what they are paying or not paying for. The only way we would know that is if she released that information to us.
But
Or the insurance company.
we're assuming that we're only talking
We don't
the
know.
structure.
We don't know. We're playing in the dark.
Is it possible to ask a procedural question?
No, sir, not right. We're in the middle of a motion. Hang on just a second. The original motion stands that Mr. Pownell made a $3,000 offer to be taken from Public Works. There was a second. There was discussion. It's ready for a vote. Unless Mr. Pownell wants to change it.
I would make a motion to amend.
Okay. Motion made to amend.
To amend the amount to the deductible of $1,000.
Okay. Mr. DeVito made a motion to reduce the original $3,000 to $1,000 to cover the deductible. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Berry made and seconded. Mr. Berry seconded. Any further discussion? Mr. DeVito?
As the attorney states, if any money beyond what we give goes right to the insurance company. So
Well, as I said, we don't know that based on what Mr. Parnell has just asked, because we don't know the terms of what exactly her coverage covers.
but there
There is an assertion that they want us to know that they are asserting their subjugation rights, and that they intend to seek subrogation of monies from the city.
Mr. Pownell?
Can I still amend my motion and really muddle this up?
Well, we have another motion on now. So.
May I ask a question? Are
Okay.
we beyond that?
Well,
we're in
the
discussion.
We're in discussion.
We're still in discussion. If the insurance company, if we go with 1,000 and the insurance company settles with that, would we be able to come back and assess any extra damage that Nellie has been left with that the insurance company has not rectified in a proper manner, and assist her in any other way?
We would be at that point subject to an interference with a contract claim by the insurance company potentially, and additionally, their subjugation claim would still also attach if they believed it was being paid to support.
Mr. Pownell?
Depending on where I can put it, and since it's in discussion, I'll just throw it out for what's on my head. If we were able to, if I understand it correctly, the $1,000 could go to her directly without affecting the insurance, because that's what she had to basically bite the bullet on to start with, right?
I believe that probably the $1,000 could go to her,
So if we,
but that might raise additional liability issues between the city and the insurance.
I just want to
what I was going to ask was
It's
if we
horrible.
could take, if that was possible, take and leave the $3,000 amount and leave the $1,000 for deductible and up to $2,000, which would be the remaining of the $3,000, to cover any documented expenses that her insurance company has said they will not cover.
Okay, we're still with Mr. DeVito's motion.
We can revisit that down the road. We're dealing.
Is it right now?
Excuse me, I have the floor. We're dealing with all kinds of variables, all kinds of unknowns. We don't know if the insurance company is going to make it totally fine with her and everything is going to be great. We don't know that. So it's speculation on our part that when this is all said and done and the insurance company